So I just came out of a live on my OnlyFans. I ain't got time to change my clothes. The library closes in 15 minutes. And I got to figure out how to turn off the music. Come on now. And I already got everything set up for the 4-hour work week. Here we go. There we go. Okay. All right. We are going with I'm reading the 4-Hour Work Week by Timothy Ferriss. I've already read 3 chapters with you guys. Tonight we're going to be doing dodging bullets, fear sitting, and escaping paralysis.
The library will be closing in 15 minutes. Public computers will shut down automatically 5 minutes before closing. If you have any materials to be checked out, please take them to the circulation desk at this time. If you need assistance finding materials, please come to the information desk.
All right, honey. I had everything set up. There we go. Just takes it a minute. Patience. All right. Fear setting and escaping paralysis. Many a false step was made by standing still. Fortune cookie. I love fortune cookies. I'm reading them. Name must you fear be before banish it you can. Yoda from Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back. Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. 20 feet in closing. Run! Run! Hands didn't speak Portuguese, but the meaning was clear enough. Haul ass. His sneakers gripped firmly on the jagged rock, and he drove his chest forward toward 3,000 feet of nothing. He held his breath on the final step, and the panic drove him to near unconsciousness. His vision blurred at the edges, closing to a single pinpoint of light, and then he floated. The all-consuming celestial blue of the horizon hit his visual field an instant after he realized that the thermal updraft had caught him in the wings of the paraglider. Fear was behind him on the mountaintop and thousands of feet above the resplendent green rainforest and pristine white beaches of Copacabana. Hans kneeling had seen the light. That was Sunday. On Monday, Hans returned to his law office in Century City, Los Angeles, posh corporate haven, and promptly handed in his 3-week notice. For nearly 5 years, he had faced his alarm. Clock with the same dread. I have to do this for another 40 to 45 years. He had once slept under his desk at the office after a punishing half-done project, only to wake up and continue on it the next morning. That same morning, he had made himself a promise. 2 more times and I'm out of here. Strike number 3 came the day before he left for his Brazilian vacation. We all make these promises to ourselves, and Hans had done it before as well, but things were now somehow different. He was different. He had realized something while arching in slow circles toward the earth. Risks weren't that scary once you took them. His colleagues told him what had happened, what he expected to hear. He was throwing it all away. He was an attorney on his way to the top. What the hell did he want? Hans didn't know exactly what he wanted, but he had tasted it. On the other hand, he did know what bored him to tears, and he was done with it. No more moving, no more passing days as the living dead, no more dinners where his colleagues compared cars, riding on the sugar high of a new BMW purchase until someone bought a more expensive Mercedes. It was over immediately. A strange shift began. Hans felt for the first time in his life, in a long time, a peace with himself and what he was doing. He had always been terrified of plane turbulence, as if he might die with the best inside of him, but now he could fly through a violent storm sleeping like a baby. Strange indeed. More than a year later, he was still getting unsolicited job offers from law firms, but by then he had started Nexus Surf, a premier surf adventure company based in the tropical paradise of Florianopolis. I never heard of it. Have y'all? Brazil. Oh my gosh. I'm not doing any of that, but it sounds wonderful for him. He had met his dream girl, a Carioca. I'm going to look that up later. With caramel-colored skin named Tatiana. Tatiana song going through my head. Tatiana. Okay, Tatiana. Anyway, they spent most of his time relaxing under palm trees or treating clients to the best times of their lives. Is this what he had been so afraid of? These days, he often sees his former self in the underjoyed and overworked professional he takes out on the waves, waiting for the swell, the true emotions come out. God, I wish I could do what you do. His reply is always the same. You can. The setting sun reflects off the surface of the water, providing a zen-like setting for a message he knows is true. It's not giving up to put your current path on indefinite pause. He could pick up his law career exactly where he left it off if he wanted to, but that is the farthest thing from his mind. As they paddle back to the shore after an awesome session, his client gets a hold of themselves and regain their composure. They set foot on shore and reality sinks its fangs in. I would, but I can't really throw it all away. He has to laugh. The power of pessimism defining the nightmare. Actions may not always bring happiness, but there is no happiness without action. Benjamin Disraeli, former British Prime Minister. To do or not to do, to try or not to try, most people will vote no, whether they consider themselves brave or not. Uncertainty and the prospect of failure can be very scary noises in the shadows. Most people will choose unhappiness over uncertainty. For years, I set goals, made resolutions to change directions, and nothing came of either. I was just as insecure and scared as the rest of the world. The simple solution came to me accidentally 4 years ago. At that time, I had more money than I knew what to do with. I was making $70,000 or so per month, and I was completely miserable. Wow. Worse than ever, I had no time and was working myself to death. I had started my own company only to realize it would be nearly impossible to sell. Oops, I felt trapped and stupid at the same time. I ain't never had that problem. Do y'all have that problem? Okay. All right, I'm going to keep going. We got a few moments. I should be able to figure this out, I thought. Why am I such an idiot? Why can't I make this work? Buckle up and stop being such a insert expletive. What's wrong with me? The truth was nothing was wrong with me. I hadn't reached my limit. I'd reached the limit of my business model at the time. It wasn't the driver, it was the vehicle. Critical mistakes in its infancy would never let me sell it. I could hire magic elves and connect my brain to a supercomputer. It didn't matter. My little baby had some serious birth defects. The question then came, how do I free myself from this Frankenstein while making it self-sustaining? This is a great question. How do I pry myself from the tentacles of workaholism, and the fear that it would fall to pieces without my 15-hour days? Ooh-wee. How can I escape the self-made prison, a trip I decided, a sabbatical year around the world? So I took the trip, right? Well, I'll get to that. First, I felt it prudent to dance around with my shame, embarrassment, and anger for 6 months, all the while playing an endless loop of reasons why my cop-out fantasy trip could never work. One of my more productive periods, for sure. Then one day, in my bliss of envisioning how bad my future suffering would be, I hit upon a gem of an idea. It was surely a highlight of my don't happy, be worried phase. Oh, Brazil. Nice. I'm talking about Brazil too. Hello, Ali Surf and Diallo Alpha. Awesomeness. Okay. Let's see here. Why don't I decide exactly what my nightmare would be, the worst thing that could possibly happen as a result of my trip? Well, my business could fail while I'm overseas, for sure. Probably would. A legal warning letter could accidentally not get forwarded and I would get sued. My business would be shut down and inventory would spoil on the shelves while I'm picking my toes in solitary misery on some cold shore in Ireland. I need to upgrade my problems to this right here. If this is a problem, I need to upgrade to this problem. Let's keep going. Let's see here. Crying in the rain. I imagine my bank account would crater by 80%, and certainly my car and motorcycle
the library will be closing in 5 minutes.
Would be stolen.
Any materials to be checked out must be taken to the circulation desk at this time. If you need other assistance, please come to the information desk.
I suppose someone would probably spit on my head from a high-rise balcony while I am feeding food scrap to a stray dog, which would then spook and bite me squarely on the face. God, life is cruel, hard bitch. It's a cruel, hard bitch. I got two different meanings of life. Conquering fear equals defining fear. Set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, which coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, is this the condition that I feared? Seneca. Then a funny thing happened. Oh, this is a whole different chapter. Whoops. So tomorrow we will be going into conquering fear equals defining fear. And I'm going to go change my clothes before I get my ride to the house. It was wonderful talking with you all. Those who tuned in earlier know that I had been working on books and that was my primary goal, and they are uploaded. And, well, 3 of them are uploaded. I'm going to see how those go on Amazon, and I'm going to start working on the other books that I have not finished until Amazon decides what to do with the latest book about the eclipse, which I had a blast writing. Very informative. I learned, and I did. Lots of information. I will see y'all later. Have a lovely rest of y'all evening. And, yeah, see y'all tomorrow. Smoochie.